Welcome back to the Casting Cost cEDH podcast. I'm Blake.
I'm Chase. Blake's forgotten how to do this after a couple weeks, but we're actually going to be covering our local event that happened a couple weeks ago.
It sounds like Chase also forgot because he took a long pause right there.
I did take a little bit of a long pause, but yeah, it's been a couple weeks since we've done a tournament breakdown and things like that. And I know there were a couple of big events that happened this past weekend with the Mana Masters and the big ZD event. When we were kind of looking at some of that, though, some of the deck lists were not included on there. So we thought it'd be a good time to cover the local event that happened, especially since here recently on the podcast we've been talking about how to grow our local scene and getting input and advice from other people. Like it would probably be a good thing to showcase something that's gone on locally here.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree. I think that was a big accomplishment, honestly, because we kept trying to grow the local scene and it just was not happening. And we had a lot of our local people put a lot of effort into trying to help run this event. So that was awesome. We had some local people judge it, had some local people run it, had some local people purchase the top deck software. And yeah, so hopefully on the next couple ones, we can try to strong arm the local store into making it full 100% proxy. And then me and you can get in a pod together with Yuriko and Flubs and see what happens with that.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Hell yeah.
That would not be fun.
But one gigantic housekeeping thing that I did want to touch on is
like and subscribe.
Well, not even that yet, but I mean, I'll touch on
always.
that too. But no, obviously we posted a podcast episode on Monday, which means we're gonna go back to posting the podcast episodes on Monday because we're kind of in just like a weird experimental phase. We've been trying all sorts of different stuff, just seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and our schedules have been hectic as hell. But we're finally creating some structure, as a document that we made suggests. I have a little upside down smiley face in it, but yeah, we're gonna be creating some more structure. So yeah, the podcast is gonna go back to Mondays. We did a poll, and the majority of people liked Mondays, so we're doing Mondays. Tournament breakdowns are still on Wednesdays, and then the gameplay are going back to Saturdays. So if you want to mark it on your calendar when Casting Cost is going to be posting their awful videos, that's when. So you can look forward to seeing our faces 3 times a week.
It literally is probably going to change at the beginning of next year. Like we go through this every 2 months.
Chase,
something like that.
I make Chase sit through board meetings because Chase would just legit throw shit at the wall, never come prepared for anything. I am unprepared, but structurally unprepared, I call it.
But when we record, I'm the one that can keep it all together.
Yes, because
that's the more important part.
There's a difference.
They don't have to know the behind the scenes details on things.
If I did not have it together, it would be way worse.
That is true. So if you, while I'm thinking about it, if you would like to help me keep my sanity in dealing with Blake and help him stay more structured, he also made a announcement, I think, on Friday's episode that we put out for the podcast that we now have an affiliate link with Mana Vault Proxies.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, go check them out. We'll put some links down below for Mana Vault Proxies, and use code CCC at checkout for, I believe, 5%? Is it 5% off?
It gets you a discount and it helps support the channel.
Yeah.
It's also a proxy company run by a player that's in the space, Notorious. He was one of the players that top 16 the Fishbowl on Arkham Daxon. So he's a cEDH player for cEDH players. So just go obviously support him, but then also it helps the channel out. So if you're going to order proxies anyway, they're good proxies and it helps us too. So I don't know.
Yeah, I actually just ordered 3 decks off of there using code CCC. Yeah, so remember to do that.
I'm about to place an order for 600 cards. They had to make a special bundle just so that I can place the order.
Yeah, and I think now that hello, Jinxie. Now that we have that, I think that maybe we have some potential options to do giveaways and things like that too.
Yeah. No, that's actually something that's really cool. But if we hit a certain number of affiliate, the links that people click and actually buy the decks, he will give us a deck that is a full proxy deck to give away on the channel, which is super dope. So I don't know what the deck's going to be. None of us do. But if you want to obviously help somebody get a full proxy deck and maybe get into the format, then just again, if you're gonna go buy proxies, just click the link. And yeah, he said code triple C. It's not like triple C. It's C, like three C's. Three C's.
Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate that.
I would need it because I would be over there. It's not working. I don't understand. Chase lied to me.
I did not lie to him. He just didn't think that far ahead. But anyway, we're gonna get into this tournament breakdown. Also
go support us on Patreon and join our Discord. That is all.
And Spotify. Anyway, so
they're watching the podcast here. If you're watching on YouTube, don't go watch it on Spotify.
Oh my goodness.
Or do.
We're falling apart. This is the last episode we're ever doing.
Double dip.
Oh my god. This is the last episode we're ever gonna do together. Anyway, so yeah, let's get into some of this stuff about this event. So this was a local event at our hobby town that we had. It's pretty much the only store that we truly have for Magic within Bowling Green. It was a 36 player event, which is really nice because we haven't had an event that size just yet. It was max capacity was 40, right? And I think that a lot of that just comes down to like store space and things like that. So at one point in time, we actually had all spots filled. And I think day of, just there were 4 people that didn't show up. Maybe we had some walk-ins, but it ended up being a 36 player event, 5 rounds, which was kind of long, but I think they're making adjustments for next time. And a cut to top 10, which I actually really like. I've been in events where they cut to top 10 before, and where if you're not familiar with how that structure goes, it is whoever is ranked first in first and second place at the end of the Swiss rounds, they get buys into the final 4 pod, and then 3rd through 10th have to kind of duke it out, and whoever the winner of those 2 pods are, that's your top 4 for the event. So that's pretty cool.
What did you play in this event?
I actually took Kennen for this event, and I did it okay. I think I did 1, 2, and 1. Like I said, it was a 5-round event. I dropped right before the 5th round because I had some things I had to do that ended up kind of falling apart after I left. But if I had played, I could have potentially placed. How did you do? Did I say I played Kennen? I don't think.
Yeah, you did. You played.
Yeah, I played Kennen for this event instead of SSA.
Yeah, I would have basically went like 0-1 and 4 for the day, but I gave up my last game because like a draw did nothing for me, and I was just like, fuck it. One player was like already gonna make the cut, so I was like, fuck it. We just all helped them out. But yeah,
the C stands for collusion.
It's collusion. Correct. But no, but yeah, I played Zer, and that draw on Chase's record, that was me.
It was because he wouldn't just let me win.
Fuck no.
Anytime we get together, we just have a miserable time. And actually, we have some proof of that because one of the guys that I believe he's technically from the Murray area, he competes a lot down in like the Tennessee area. I think Thomas Lowe. He had actually sent us some photos that he was going around during the event and taking pictures and things like that. So here you can actually see Blake and I, like, I think almost kind of getting into it at one point. If I could find the picture real quick. Hold on. Oh, there it is. There it is. Let me see if I can pull this. Oh no.
Come on, Chase, you got it?
I don't. Okay, there it is. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So yeah, I'm like staring down Parth. You're just making sure you have counter magic in hand. I think
I had
this
a fuck ton of counter magic in hand.
they wouldn't just let me win. So,
bro, I had to do some fucking wild deals in this game, dude. Because like at one point there were 2 bowmasters. I somehow managed to like make Kenrith player agree to keep a bowmaster around so that we could mow down Chase's board with a Seedborn Muse on it. And I had to make the agreement that we would shoot the Seedborn Muse, kill the Muse, and then the final blows could kill each other's bowmasters. And that was the agreement that we made. And then Chase was like, "Yeah, that's fine." Nezahal, and just fucking starts throwing down like just all sorts of crazy.
I dropped Nezahal off my first flip.
Yeah, I was gonna kill the Nezahal, and then you freaking discarded your hand to keep it around.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's getting more cards off of it.
But no, yeah, that anybody that thinks that I know that people talk about collusion, but Logan actually talked about this when he was on the episode of Distraction Makers, because they were saying like, oh, you have a team, like, the critical team, like y'all would want to see each other do well. And Logan literally made the comment where he was like, there is nobody that I want to lose to less than anybody from Crit.
That's how I feel.
Like, I don't want Chase to beat me, and I really want to beat Chase. And I know he feels the same way. He really wants me to beat him, and he doesn't want to beat me. So
No, I would have win at almost all costs. Blake did what he normally does very effectively, made the game go to a draw. So
that is right.
So let's take
we don't win in Esper. We just end up with a lot of 1-point games.
Fair enough. So let's kind of take a look at some of these other pictures before we actually get into this breakdown. So I think here we have Cole, which is one of the guys I think that came up from Clarksville and actually made it in the top 10 on this event. We'll cover his list here in a second. We have Michael and then Phil from Murray in this, and there's Sasha there. I don't know what Mike is doing in this. He looks concerned or worried or something.
Yeah. Shout out to Michael. Honorable mention. He got 11th place. He was on Elevator.
Yeah, he's
just bubbled, but yeah,
he's one of our stacks players that we complain quite a bit about. Not really complain. It's just fuck stacks. I hate
the one time that I was gonna actually play a starting town on curve, and he fucking dropped a root maze, and I was like, this card fucking sucks.
Yeah. Here we got Travis. So we got Travis and a few of the other people that actually came up from the Tennessee area to really support this event.
The person next to Travis is Joe, a stacks player. He plays tile.
More stacks. We always say that in our meta, it's like super stacks heavy for whatever reason, and then we have these Tennessee people that come up and play more stacks. Oh, I love it. There's some random cards. It looks like on the Nixless board. Oh, there's a wild flubs. There's a wild flubs. Let's keep going. There's Leo and there's Travis in the background, and this guy right here in the foreground with the glasses. I didn't catch his name, but he is the flubs player from this event. He was talking about how like this is the most expensive deck that he has for cEDH. I think his value is like over 20K in flubs. And I think at one point I overheard the conversation like they were like, what, like why? He's like, well, I do have a foil cradle in the deck. And I'm just like, oh God. So, but
people love their frog.
I love the frog, but I don't know if I love it that much.
Leo in that picture is a mono green Savannah stacks player
who we've had several times on the channel for different decks. So that's fun. That's Craig. So he's actually one of the, like, I think the judges and the tournament organizers down in the Tennessee area.
Yeah,
and
he was the person who was the head judge whenever I went to the event in Clarksville at Infinity.
Okay.
Where Tim was at. He was the head judge, and me and Craig got into a 5-minute conversation mid-game while he was standing off to the side of our game watching. And then we realized after 5 minutes, one of the players goes, are we going to get a time extension for this random conversation? And he goes, yeah, you got 5 minutes. We were just having a conversation and I should have been playing. So, yeah.
Very, very nice guy. And he's actually been really helpful in trying to get things set up kind of within our region too. So a lot of love and appreciation sent his way. And that's also Forrest here.
Oh, yeah.
I think that I don't remember what he played for this event. I didn't really get the chance to. Oh, he's on Atraxa. That's pretty cool.
He is liking Atraxa.
I just remember, I think it was during our game. It may have been this game that he was playing in. I remember we were playing and I overheard him trying to resolve like a Thassa's combo, but he reverse Thoracled it. And he was like, oh, that's how that's supposed to work? The other way around. So I think he ended up like getting rid of all his library, and then someone countered the Thassas. Yeah.
He did get a dub at the event.
Hey,
I was really happy for him, but he's been wanting to get more into cEDH. Like, he already had a couple of decks that he would like play occasionally, but he's been getting more into it. And he's been talking about wanting to like do more tournaments now.
Yeah.
He started watching more of the gameplay and watching more of the tournament breakdowns, and now he's like really wanting to like kind of grind it out a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
So when he got that first win, I went up to him and I asked him, I was like, how'd it go? And he told me he got a win, and he was like, this is fun, dude. I was like, I know, it's very addicting.
Hey, that's why we always say, go play some cEDH. Yep. Oh, there's us again. I'm not gonna go over that one. There's Forrest again, and there's is it Matthew
I think it's Michael.
or Michael?
Matt. Oh, you're right. Either one. Oh, Matt. Yeah, Matt.
Matt Schneider. He's going to be one of our people that we talk about in this top 10 breakdown for tonight. But he
Very good player.
plays the Joyra Ageless Innovator, I think.
Yeah, I actually faced him. Same thing in the Infinity event. He was in my top 16 game.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh, so I'm kind of there in this picture, but we got Trevor here. For those of you that kind of keep up with some of our gameplay, he's our local Tyam pilot. Loves playing the Yam, likes playing Derevi, Bant shells and Abzan things. And then we got Parth here, which he is someone that is actually going to be like coming in more locally with us. Just recently moved and a little bit closer to our area, and we got to play against him in the game that it was you and I and Sean and that. He was also on track, so really good pilot as well. What else? What else we got there? There's Blake again and Joey.
Yep. That's me forcing a draw.
What he does best.
Literally
what he does best.
I sat down. I looked at what the pod was, and it was literally it was Liz was on Blue Farm, Joey is on Blue Farm, Sean is on Kennan, and I literally sat down going into this pod going, I don't win this, I just get the draw. And I kept like a very mid hand, and I was able to drag the game out long enough to where Sean pushed was like kicking ass. Like it was bad. Like yeah, real big push. And I was trying so hard to force the draw, and Joey thought he was going to get there, so he's like trying to stop the win. And then Liz is just kind of like there to help play backup, and I'm just like sandbagging. Like I'm right after Sean in priority, and I'm like, I'm not casting anything. I refuse. Like draw or nothing. Like I'd lose this game. I don't even have like I'm looking at my hand. I'm like, there's no win, push, anything like on my turn. And so Joey counters everything, and then I offer the draw. Sean agrees not to push anymore. Joey basically is like, no, I think I get there on my turn, and I drop my hand, and it is 8 pieces of counter magic. And he goes, y'all take the draw.
That's funny. So yeah, those are some of the pictures from Thomas that he sent my way, and I just wanted to quickly show those because hopefully he'll be able to kind of take some more pictures at either some of these local events or wherever he goes. Clearly got some really good photos in this, so just wanted to kind of promote him as well and kind of showcase his work, and just really excited that we finally got something going here, even though it's 10 proxies. The hope is next time will be bigger press support and 100% proxy, but we shall see.
Do you want to talk about the Kentucky stuff too?
I guess I can go ahead since you brought it up.
Well, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I mean, you edit.
I know. So, yeah, I know people are like, just get into the breakdown already. But so
to those people, we say you weren't at the event. No,
you weren't there. You don't know. So yeah, even though we know there were a couple of bigger events this weekend, we have had a couple of really good discussions the past few weeks, but especially in the 2 episodes that really released within the past week for the podcast with Zarek and Jake and Alan on how to grow the local scene. And so we really wanted to put this out there because we have had a lot of locals asking on the breakdown for this and some of our thoughts from the event, and just wanted to see some of this stuff. But in one of our videos, there was a Kentucky player, Relk, who plays Ral quite a bit, and I actually played against it through the decades. In the event that we talked about,
was he the guy with the cowboy hat?
Yes, he was the one with the cowboy hat.
He was on the Radstorm combo.
Yeah, he was on the Radstorm one. But so he commented in the video with Zarek and Jake about when is there going to be a Kentucky cEDH Discord, and because Ohio has one, like the Atlanta area has one. Nashville's got one. Like all these other states or all these other bigger cities have some form of, and I know Louisville does. Louisville has their own Discord and things like that. But that comment prompted me to go on ahead and just make the Kentucky Discord, and thankfully I had the help of input from others and Chase, who not me, Chase, other Chase, who actually helped set up our Discord for the channel. He was very gracious in helping us set up this one as well. But there is now a Kentucky Discord for cEDH. So if you are a Kentucky native or you are in one of the surrounding states and just want to kind of know what's going on, we're going to put a link down below for the Kentucky cEDH Discord. So that way we can really start connecting players across the state and also be able to connect shops, TOs, judges, things like that. So that way we can get some more organized play for cEDH here in Kentucky. So yeah, that's kind of a lot of announcements, I feel like, going into this breakdown. But there's a lot of good things happening, not just on the channel and in our local scene, but across the state that we're trying to really promote and push out there. And whatever support we can get from that is greatly appreciated. So,
Hell yeah.
hell yeah. You ready to get into this top 10?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's do it. All right. In 10th place, we have Dylan McQuarrie on Thrasios Timna. So, Dylan is one of our locals that we've covered before from the Pool Priority event. So, let's kind of see what he's got going on.
That was what was crazy. That was like his very first cEDH event. He goes to a 121 player event in top 16s.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Absolutely.
I suck at this game.
You do play Zer.
Yeah. The deck is going to be solid. Just wait. Just wait.
Fair enough.
Play to Win just had Zer on their channel.
Oh.
Now it
was going to blow up because it was Play to Win, not you.
It was a 10-year-old deck that had not been updated in 10 years.
Okay.
They took cEDH back 10 years. It did not do well. Spoiler. But then somebody made a comment about how it was a lot better now. Probably out of the decks that were there, it was the best one now, and I agree.
Oh,
it's the fucking best.
I don't know about that, but anyway, let's get into Dylan's deck. So I know Dylan plays kind of this combination of like a traditional TNT and the tree farm build, where he's not going full turbo cradle, but still incorporating like the Biomancer's Familiar and then like Derevia mill lines, while also being able and having like sewing Microspawn as well, while prioritizing things like the Devoted Druid combos. And again, we've made this hopefully clear by now. Our area just loves stacks. So he's put in Draenith. He has this Aven Interrupter in there. So Opposition Agent. And again, we've kind of said that these are pieces, like some of these pieces have kind of fallen off, like the Draenith and the Oppo. But I kind of have a feeling we're going to start seeing some of these pieces start coming back, even in the broader meta.
He's even talked about adding Aven Mind Sensor back into the list.
Yeah, and he was originally on that too. So yeah, an interesting build. Kind of again, it's almost this hybrid between like a traditional TNT and the tree farm builds. So let's see what else we got going on in the kind of the sorceries.
It's like just the good tutor package for the deck. Plus, like I knew he made the comment before the event that he wanted to find a slot for Savines, and so he cut a card to put Savines in because he's like, this card is just really good. I don't know why it's not on the list. I just don't have a slot for it.
Yeah, I mean, Savines is a very solid card, and I think that most of the time that we see Savines in a TNT build, it's probably going for like either the Snapcaster or probably even some kind of thing with the Devoted Druid, like doing the gifts package with that. I don't know if he's on gifts. We'll kind of keep looking, but again, you mentioned the tutors, Toxic Deluge and Calling Ritual. Really, I mean, I think both are really good, especially like if you're kind of going for this deck that is just trying to control the board states. If you're having to fend off like against Kennons or other creature decks, Toxic Deluge is really good. Calling Ritual, I think, is like one of the best spells you can run, especially in like Golgari colors. Kind of low-ish on our instances compared to what we see a lot, I think, in TNT, because I think that, you know, we most of the time we're kind of leaning more towards like how Blue Farm interacts, I think, with the TNT build. But it's not that he lacks interaction here, because he has a lot of counter magic, has a lot of just like spot removal, things like that. No gifts pile in that, but I think that that's okay. I think Savines by itself is honestly okay. Looking at the artifacts here, he is on the One Ring, and he's also on Machine God's Effigy, just as another way to combo off with the Devoted Druid if it's on board. Same thing if we look in the enchantments on the Swift Recon, Training Grounds, again, kind of going into that like this hybrid build between the tree farm and the traditional TNT, but having ways of reducing the cost of Thrasios is what he's kind of looking at here. Survival of the fittest kind of almost being utilized as a combo piece. And then we're on 28 lands, which I mean, I think that seems pretty fair. I think we're starting to see a lot of lists go a little bit higher on their land counts. To even include something like Talon Gates of Medora is kind of something that I've noticed a lot across multiple decks. So I don't know if we'll continue to see that or not, but it is kind of interesting, nonetheless. So you kind of laughed a little bit over there. What are you laughing at?
I contribute nothing to these.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I'll let you read the next one. So,
so
congratulations, Dylan, with a record of 1, 2, and 2.
So funny. I was like, Avon mindset. That was my one contribution. Avon. Then you're like, let me give you a full biography or whatever.
This is what it's like doing like a regular podcast episode with you, whenever you just ramble. Yeah.
Hey,
okay. Congrats. In ninth place, we have Parth Patel on Atraxa Grand Unifier.
Yeah, good lit. No, I think, yeah, we actually, in the game that me and him played together, we played against Parth, and it was kind of crazy. Like, Parth at one point just decided he was just cracking jokes, having a good time. We were all laughing, yada, 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 cutting up, whatever. And then, did he slam a Grand Abolisher or did he slam a Teferi? What happened? Because he had Teferi, I think got bend, but I think he slammed a Grand Abolisher.
He was trying to put some form of a silence effect on the stack.
Oh, yeah. We just straight up asked it because he just started to do it. And I just asked him, I was like, are you just pushing for the win? And he goes, yeah. I was like, no. And so then all of my attention went from Chase straight over to him. And then, of course, I've got to play counter. Freaking, no. It was just silly. But Chase was already in like a great spot with Kennen at that point. But
I was in such a good spot and they wouldn't let me win. So, Blake, what is this deck trying to do?
Cast Atraxa, clone Atraxa.
Oh my!
It's like a late game Nas in the zone, essentially. Which he actually did that. Like I think he cast the Atraxa and then he cloned it once, correct? Because you got to see quite a few cards off of the top.
I believe that's what happened.
Yeah, I think he dropped. Was it a Metamorph or a Clever Impersonator or something like that? But he was able to clone the Atraxa. But yeah, essentially, it. A lot of people that are playing Atraxa, they're treating it almost as like a late game Nas in the zone, essentially, rather than TNT. Because like Thrasios gets you a lot of incremental value throughout the game, but you have to lean a little bit more into the Thrasios plan. A lot of people with this are just playing like Sans Red Good Pile, and then they have Atraxa there as like the late game finisher. Because a lot of people have noticed that like TNT does a really good job of like taking games to time and like grinding, but it has a really hard time like pivoting or pushing win. Atraxa kind of gives you that pivot in the zone, but it's just really slow. So a lot of people are not playing like tons of clones and going super hard into like the food chain plan. Other people are going super hard into like the food chain plan. He's on a lot of clones in the list. He's got like the Clever Impersonator. He's got the Phyrexian Metamorph. Got the Kitten to do the bounce of the Atraxa. Got Hullbreaker Horror. He's on the rest of the cards in there are just like really good dorks and like things to give you value. Obviously, like the Delighted Halfling, Elves of Deep Shadow, Deathrite, Birds, all those things just make mana. Kennen just there to double up mana. You got good value engines with like Esper Sentinel and Lotho. Opposition Agent. I don't remember if he was on Scheming Symmetry or not. No, he wasn't on Scheming Symmetry. But yeah, lots of really good tutors. Very similar again, like almost the exact same package that we just saw from the TNT list, minus I think like what Mean Bet.
And I don't think that Dylan was on Besiege the Mirror either.
Yeah. So again, like very similar. Once again, like similar package. And then when you look at the instance, more instance than what Dylan was just playing in his TNT list. I think he's including things like Offer, Chain of Vapor, Essence Flux, Ephemerate. Again, leaning a lot heavier into the Atraxa plan. So it's typically one of two ways that you're going to see it. Either they're going to lean really, really, really hard into the Atraxa plan and they're trying to like turbo Atraxa, or they're just playing Sans Red Good Pile and they're just Atraxa's there as like a finisher. But very interactive list, it's looking like. And then obviously Thassa Consult or Tainted Pack is like a win con. And then they have lots of artifacts in here. Notably, they're on Mopal. They are on 12 plus what, like the Esper and then the Metamorph. Opting to run the One Ring, and then playing a couple of the Talismans, and then on Food Chain. And they're on Mermaid. No copy enchantment, though, which I do find very interesting. But notably, Mermaid can also be an artifact, which is good. And then 26 lands. And I hope they're not on Strike Tail.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, but Shifting Woodlands is probably like one of the most notable ones. And then I don't even see like anything like E-Zone or any of that other stuff. So, yeah, Shifting Woodlands is probably like the most notable one. And then like Mysterized Village.
Did you feel like you contributed that time?
No. I forgot that. Very.
Oh, no, I was about to say. I was like, that's pretty good. But yeah, the only other noticeable things that stand out right away to me are the Teferi Displacer Kitten lines that the deck can really more effectively use, because if you do start slamming down Atraxa, like the card types matter. Like that's kind of the thing with Atraxa is like you at first I felt like whenever people were playing it and it was really popular like a little over a year ago, it was like almost like this whole thing of like card types matter, but overall like there's still the same premise of the deck as far as like your main combos: Thassa's, Demonic Consultation, Taint Impact, Teferi, Displacer Kitten, and any positive rocks, so that way you just draw your deck out and kind of Thassa's out from there, which is a really clean line because you're essentially doing this all under a silence effect because of the Teferi. So that's really good. What I do like about this, and I'm going to have to, yeah. So I like that he has Hullbreaker Horror included in here, which is not a traditional Atraxa card, but I guess the way I kind of see this is like if you start doing Hullbreaker Horror loops and you make infinite colored mana, like then you just infinitely cast Atraxa and utilize that as a way of continuing like drawing out your deck, right? So that's pretty cool. And then the actual piece that he is opting to utilize here for the food chain is the Mist Hollow Griffin, which I think will be really important to talk about because there's an interesting commander coming out of the new set that is very dependent on 4 CMC, and Mist Hollow Griffin meets that requirement. So
You stole it?
yeah, you stole it. But yeah, other than that, I think you got all the main points. So congratulations, Parth, with a record of 1-1-3. In 8th place, we have Travis Lewis on Glarb. So I think he's been playing like this Glarb list for like ever since Glarb came out, pretty much.
He loves Glarb. The frogs, the mat is frog, the deck is frog.
He is very dedicated to this deck. So let's kind of see what he's been doing with it. Oh, he took something that I've been thinking about for Glarb.
Oh, the Gwenum.
Gwenum. Yeah. I actually really like that. I think if like Glarb list are already doing like Bolus's Citadel type stuff, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like you might as well. It's a creature. Yes, it has to attack, but with Glarb's ability, you can go on ahead and flip Gwenum off the top and cast it. You may not necessarily have a way of giving it haste right away, but at least it's another card in the deck you can utilize to like filter more cards out, if that makes sense.
Well, and if nothing else, too, it takes heat off of the Glarb. Because a lot of times, like, people think Glarb is a very Glarb-centric strategy, and they'll try to, like, remove the Glarb or deal with it. But if all of a sudden the Glarb player has a Gwenum, they're like, fuck.
Right.
Do I address the Glarb or do I address the Gwenum?
Right.
Like, I've only got targeted removal.
Like, both are issues. Well, and we continue to talk about how, like, there's a lot of decks right now that are not running just, like, single target removal. Like, yeah, you have the Source of Plowshare and, like, Otawara and things like that that are very common in most decks, but the chances of getting down to, like, your 1 or 2 pieces in the deck that are actually going to take care of those problems doesn't seem likely. Plus, like, things like Abrupt Decay, Gwenum dodges, and that's a pretty common card within like any kind of shell that has gold guard colors in it. So yeah, I think Gwenum and Glarb seems really, really good. He's also on the Dryad of Elysian Grove, just as a way to like get more lands like off the top of the deck and into play. So extra land drop type of effects, Wandering Archaic, to kind of be a little bit more protective in what you're trying to do or win those counter wars. I know he kind of it seems like he goes for like slightly more control-y with things like the Gilded Drake and the Opposition Agent here as well. And he's on Devoted Druid, so that kind of tells me that he's doing some kind of line. I would assume he doesn't have Hazels here in the 99, but
I do find it. Yeah, he's got Thrasios in the 99. But
he does have Thrasios in the 9.
that was something that I just noticed. But like, no, there's no Kennen or like any other infinite mana thing that I'm seeing, unless he's got like something to combo with the Druid.
I'm gonna assume that it's just Machine God's Effigy
Yeah,
as
you
a
can
as a
cast it off the
4-drop, and
top,
you can
yeah.
cast it off the top, being here. So let's kind of keep going. Sorcery wise, again, some of those like good tutors that we've been looking at, especially in the green, to get the creatures directed to the battlefield. A little bit more control-y type pieces with the Praetor's Grasp, the Toxic Deluge, and the Culling Ritual. The realm sketching is interesting. Just to create a token copy of an artifact, creature, or land, a copy of Gaia's Cradle seems good.
See, I feel like, well, okay, don't.
What?
I was gonna say, don't hold me to this, but like, never mind, because it does hit land too, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, I was just thinking, like, if you're gonna run realm sketching, why not run something like the Clever Impersonator?
But that hits non-land
Yeah.
permanent. Yeah, and I think he is on yeah, he is also on Clever Impersonator here.
Okay, I missed the
yeah.
Clever. I literally went back to check before I said that, and I didn't see the Clever Impersonator.
Yeah.
So never mind, ignore me.
It just shows how much he actually pays attention.
I looked. Okay.
I know. We're gonna keep going on this, but Travis, and he's also on the Scheming Symmetry. Like, he's done loops before with like Ewit and Displacer Kitten, where you can loop like Dark Ritual and Scheming Symmetry if you have Opposition Agent out, and you just like get everyone's deck and win that way.
Yeah. Well, he's also he's really clever with some of the lines that I've seen him do in this. But yeah, like there was one game where it was so crazy. Like he just had this board state that did not look too bad. Like it was,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then next thing you know, like he had a Eternal Witness and he had a Kitten on board and he cast a Dark Writ and everybody just immediately is like, oh yeah, that's fine, like whatever, no big deal. And then he like has a Kitten trigger, blinks the Eternal Witness and gets back Demonic Tutor to hand, and then resolves the Dark Writ, uses 2 mana to cast the Demonic Tutor, triggers the Kitten, blinks the Eternal Witness, gets Dark Writ back.
He just starts tutoring out.
And tutors out his entire deck.
Oh my
and everybody just sits there and goes, oh shit. And he just wins the game.
Yeah. Well, and even I'm looking at his instances here, and there's some sneaky stuff within this. Like he has on the Valley Flood Caller, so he has the Retraction Helix, but I'm also looking at the Legolas's Quick Reflexes. And so if you assemble the Valley Flood Caller line and you have Glarb out, you can just do Legolas's on Glarb, and then every time you're untapping from casting, you're untapping all your your birds, otters, frogs, whatever it is for the Valley Flood Caller. And so you could actually just shoot the table with Glarb, or you could shoot the creatures with Glarb through the Legolas's Quick Reflexes.
Rats. I thought that was right. Birds, otters, frogs, rats.
Yeah. So you could kill everything that's just a threat in that moment, generate infinite mana, and then you could start proceeding to utilize that loop to start filtering more things off of the top with the Surveil from Glarb itself. So yeah, that's kind of cool to see here.
Very good card.
Looking at the artifacts.
It's very good.
Yeah. Fuck that ability. Anyway, I'm looking at the artifacts now. He is on the Machine God's Effigy. No One Ring, but we do see Sensei's Top, Aetherflux Reservoir, and Bolas' Citadel. Again, decks like this were already running this combo. I think just having the redundancy of Gwynnm there is just like really, really good. So that seems pretty traditional. Looking at the enchantments again, having additional ways of just like filtering more lands off the top. He's on Exploration, and then Rhystic Fish, Counterbalance. If you're on the Sensei's Top, you might as well be on Counterbalance. I feel like just to kind of control things a little bit more. Or
yeah, and also just being able to Glarb and like
yeah.
look.
Yeah. And then Necropotence, which is actually a really key piece in the deck. Being able to, like, if you're in a really good position with Glarb and like you just start filtering off like the little things that are on top, you can look at the top card. Oh, I don't need that. Pay 1 life, put it in through the Necropotence, remove that or exile that card, look at your next card, and you can kind of keep doing that. And I think you can actually do that in between the cards on Adnon. He's at least done it before in one of our gameplays.
What in?
He looked at the top card before, like, determining whether or not he wanted to, like.
You can look at the top card at any point. You just
Yeah.
can't look. I thought you were gonna say he activated Necro in between non.
No.
I was like, no. But yeah.
So there's some fun things in Glarb you can kind of do, and then he is on 26 lands here. So, yeah, still rocking Glarb, still trying to do things with it. So, congratulations, Travis, with a record of 2-3-0. All right, in 7th place, we have Magnus on Crom Thrasios. So this is like the big boy version of Rogthras. I don't. Yeah, so I don't really know how to explain this deck. I believe I played against it, and literally, like, when I played against it, I was sitting in seat 2, and I'd gone down to, I think, 2 or 3 cards off my mulligans, and he resolved a turn 1 Rhystic Study, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm out of this game." So, yeah, really, really interesting. Going heavier into the Thrasios plan with things like the Biomancer's Familiar, and just some interesting tech pieces like the Reality Chip, being able to kind of like how we just talked about with Glorb, having a way to kind of filter things off the top, need be, having access to that and Thrasios, which is kind of cool. You see some almost like, I don't even know how to explain it. There's some weird things in here. You got some flash enabling things like the Valley Floodcaller, the High Fate Trickster, Imperial Encroacher in here as an additional way to get some of your creatures out that you need, like maybe just going straight for Thassa's or going to Fairy Mastermind and doing some like Fairy Mastermind loops. If you generate enough mana to kind of mill everyone out that way. Hullbreaker Horror, obviously, here as a way of generating infinite mana and putting that into Thrasios. I mean, we're in a Timber deck, so Born Muse is going to be present in it, but not super, super high on our creature count compared to what we are seeing in a lot of Timber piles here recently. Sorceries, it's almost kind of the same concepts as what Rogthras has been doing as far as like you run Gamble and then bring creature tutors, which I mean continues to be doing well. So there's that. We have instances here, so super interactive from what I can kind of gather in this. And I don't know if was he on Displacer Kitten at all. Not on Displacer Kitten. There is an Eternal Witness. I guess I was just kind of looking to see if there's a way that he can loop this lightning bolt, and I guess he could technically with like Eternal Witness and like Hullbreaker Horror as a way of like after you generate infinite mana, and then if you get down to the Ewit, you can loop. You could start doing like some kind of bolt loop, which is kind of cool in its own way. He's on the Retraction Helix, so we have the Valley Floodcaller Retraction Helix to make infinite mana.
I really like the inclusion. I don't know if you're done with the artifacts yet, but I really like the inclusion of Scroll Rack.
Oh yeah, Scroll Rack. Just as a way of like just seeing more cards, essentially is what that's there for. I like the inclusion of Imposter Mech. I still am really sold on that card. So yeah, definitely like trying to manipulate the top cards of the library or seeing a bunch of cards in a really interesting way. He's even on Amulet of Vigor, so that way if you put Thrasios activations, the lands just come into play untapped and then you start using them. So that's kind of cool to see here. And then we're on some tech in the enchantments from like what we normally see with Rogthras, like the Training Grounds, the Growing Rights of Itlamok. He is on Veridity Circle. So that was kind of cool to see in this as far as like just being able to draw more cards. Viridian Revel oh yeah, he actually resolved this really early too. I remember that. It didn't do too much in our game, but Viridian Revel is a way of just making use of your opponent's treasures. Like, is kind of cool, because that will trigger it. And then we are on 25 lands and like almost this turbo cradle strategy like build where he's on the guys, he's on Manamo. No deserted temple, but I think that's okay, especially like if you're not doing too much with crawl. I don't know. That it was a very interesting pick, but I mean, with a record of 2-3-0, like apparently did well with it. So congratulations, Magnus. In sixth place, we have Joe Viscami. I think that yeah.
Joe's gonna see
On
this and be like, that piece of shit.
yeah, and he's on the Yam. So yeah, we have a local player, Trevor. We already showed him on here that has played the Yam. We have played the Yam a couple times, and sometimes this deck is really confusing. So
Not sometimes, all the time.
all the time,
I asked Trevor if there was a good cards variant of this, and he said, yeah, but it's bad. And I said, how the fuck does that make sense? He said, you just don't understand. It's like, he was like, there's 200 cards that could go and tie them, and then you pick the 100 worst cards.
and it just works.
100 worst best cards.
And it just gets
and
there.
It just gets there.
Yeah.
They literally call their decks trash cans because they're fucking garbage. But it works.
So, okay. I'm kind of scrolling through and I'm looking at this. I'm kind of seeing, okay. Yeah. So basically, my understanding of the Yam is we are kind of in this Abzan pile that utilizes stacks pieces as a way of kind of slowing down the board state because we are in Abzan. We're not drawing a ton of cards. We're not going as fast. So we gotta play stacks. We gotta slow everyone else down at the table. And the really cool thing about the Yam is that it really plays asymmetrically. Like you can play a lot of pieces that impact your board state as well, but once you get kind of these snowballing effects with your mana production and putting all the vigilance counters on your creatures, and then having other creatures that can somehow put counters on themselves and things like that, like you're not casting spells at that point. You're just putting shit from your graveyard onto the battlefield.
Yeah, the Time's kind of one of those decks that breaks parity on the fact that like a lot of these stacks pieces that say only one spell a turn, or like you can't do XYZ. Time doesn't have to cast the spells. He's just putting activated. It's just putting activated abilities up on the stack. So it does a really good job of breaking parity on like these stack battles. It can just literally wait until the last minute where it looks like somebody else is going to get the win, and then it just pushes and gets there somehow because it. Even though it is an Abzan, it is able to make quite a bit of mana through the time activations because it's any permanent 3 mana or less.
Mhm.
So it can be a Gaia's Cradle, or it can keep putting Jesus Christ, Lion's Eye Diamond and other stuff like that onto the battlefield, and just like looping effects with that. And then at that point, you literally just need something that is going to have counters that you can then remove. And there's so many like weird undying type creatures and things that you can like you can level them up. Like,
yeah, I don't think he's on the Hex Drinker Parasite. I don't see that in here. But there are a lot of creatures or just a lot of ways in general of being able to sacrifice pieces. Like if you're going through a Gaia's Cradle loop, you have things like Sylvan Safekeeper in order to sacrifice the Gaia's Cradle after you put another activation on. Get the Gaia's Cradle back. It enters untapped, so you can tap it down for more. You have the undying stuff like the Young Wolf in here, Carrion Feeders and Bartolome del Presidio, things like that to give it counters so that way you can remove counters. Things like Wall of Roots and Devoted Druid combos, where you actually put the neg counters on and then you can remove them through Time to put more activations on the stack. Just a really again, it's an interesting deck. Once it gets going though, it starts going, right? And it looks like the main win lines that I can kind of tell from this right away is the Orcish Bowmaster eventually being able to once you've gone through your entire loops, being able to sacrifice the original like bowmaster, not the token, and then bring it back with time activations, and you just shoot the table from there. And then he is also on the walking ballista, so I'm assuming that there's also like Agatha's Soul Cauldron in here as a way of just like giving one of your creatures the ability of the walking ballista, and then being able to just shoot the table that way after you generate infinite mana.
Yep.
That's what my assumption is. Very low on sorceries, very low on instances. In artifacts, there is the Agatha Soul Cauldron. He's also on Thousand Year Elixir, which is kind of cool. Pretty much giving all your creatures like this pseudo haste, so that way if you like sacrifice a bloom tender, you can bring it back, and that's another way of kind of generating infinite mana that way. Ashnod's Altar here to again probably make infinite mana that way. Birthing Pod, which is kind of interesting, but I guess it helps again get around the stack in a way that people aren't countering things. So you kind of have to stifle it or tie Resurrected to do things to it. And then in the enchantments, we're on Earthcraft, we're on Stacks Pieces. Nature's Chosen probably as a way of comboing in the deck. Crypt of the Right, which I think is an all-star card, and I think more decks that are focused on like mana production should be on it. Just doubling down on Enduring Vitality, which he was on that as well. Survival of the Fittest, probably just being able to go and get whatever creature he wants right away that he needs to combo off with. So that's cool.
Because it doesn't really hurt you putting it into the graveyard because you can just recur it with time a lot of the times. And
Right.
The other one just goes to hand.
Right. And then finally we are on 31 lands, which isn't there some kind of combo with the Centaur Guardian or Garden?
Make the Devoted Druids you give Devoted Druid +3/+3, and then at that point it will always be able to make enough mana and have enough -1/-1 counters that you can use all 3 mana, take all the -1/-1
Oh, okay.
without it dying, and then do a time activation, repeat that process, do a time activation, do it again,
Gotcha.
do it again until you've
That's cool.
Went through the deck.
Yep. So definitely a cool list. I think that the Yam is something that has actually been popping up a lot more too. So people just they do not like this turbo meta right now.
It's crazy because again, I've said it before, but this format is super self-correcting. Like if people don't like the fast meta, they slow it down. If people don't like the slow meta, they speed it up. If people don't like Rhystic Study, they try to ban it.
Absolutely. And they bring in the cats. So congratulations, Joe, with a record of 2-1-2. All right, we now have Philip Coble in 5th place on Dardu.
Phil cracks me up with this list, dude, because there was a game that I walked over to, and it was very funny. There was somebody trying to like actively push for a win, and Phil just like casually shows me his hand, and this dude in his hand has like Peer into the Abyss, Ad Nause, Silence, and something else. I don't remember what else it was, but like just solid gas. It was insane. And this person's pushing a win, and Phil just looks at the table and goes, "Hey guys, I can stop it, but I need you to protect this." And he shows the silence, and everybody's like, "Yeah." And so he silences. They protect it. It resolves, and he just kind of looks at me and goes. And then he looks back, and then I just sit over there and I just don't say anything. And then the guy goes, "Yeah, I guess I just don't get there. I'll move to instep." And he goes, "Before you're instep." And then he just resolves the Nause, and somebody goes to counter it, and he goes, "No, silence." And they're like, fine. So then he flips the nuts off of this Nause. Like, just, it was insanity. And then I'm looking at his hand, and he has a Vamp Tutor, and he fires off this Vamp Tutor. And I'm looking at his hand, and I literally tell myself, I'm like, I know exactly what I would grab here if I'm in his shoes. But I obviously am not going to say anything because I don't want to influence it. And but he was holding onto a Ranger Captain, and I was like, knowing that there's so much interaction, I thought, well, I'm fucking grabbing like a Cavern of Souls, and I'm not even human. And he literally goes, and he like pulls the card, and he hands it to me, and then he like starts shuffling his deck, and when he hands me the card, I look, and it's Cavern, and I'm like, oh yeah, dude. And he just jams on his turn. He gets there, and yeah, he's like trying to explain the loop to everybody. And Josh was also in this pod with him, and Josh goes, "Play it out one by one," and he goes, sure. And he just starts going through the combo at a time. Josh manually draws his whole deck. And he goes, yeah, I don't have anything for that. And he goes, okay, well, I'm going to proceed to do this infinite more times and make infinite mana
Yeah.
and kill you all. But Josh literally made him go through it one at a time. So he literally was just sitting there at the table going, iteration, iteration, iteration. And Josh would draw a card, draw a card.
Damn, that does sound like something Josh would do. But you are used to playing this deck. I've played it a couple of times now, but I'm gonna let you take it from here on the explanation of these combos.
Yeah. For people that don't know what Dargo does, I didn't know what it did until I actually played this deck. But for each like artifact or creature that's been sacrificed, it makes Dargo 2 generic less to cast, and that sticks around. Like even if Dargo dies and then he comes back, obviously once the turn ends, then no. But and then also you can sack creatures and artifacts as part of casting Dargo to reduce the mana cost. But yeah, so the deck basically is just trying to find a way to combo with Dargo and make it to where he basically just costs like a red. And then you have lots of creatures, or like lots of ways to find creatures that are just going to like net you mana of some sort or artifacts to reduce the cast of Dargo. So a lot of these cards, like Darcy, is just kind of like filter stuff. The greedy freebooter is going to make you treasures and help you like just kind of filter stuff off of the top. Goblin welder, it's just basically sitting there helping you find some of your combo pieces. Goblin engineer is kind of the same way. Flame scroll is just really being used for the backside. Stitcher supplier is a combo piece. Yeah, obviously it comes in, mills some cards, and then you get the opportunity to basically eat it to a Dargo cast and mill more cards, and then it's really good. I mean, it's essentially like think of like grinding station, but for like some of these other decks. Still cool.
Yeah, still.
And then you've got like access to like Ragavan, Lotho, some of these other like treasure producers, Taru, Magda in there also as a combo piece, Jolly Balloon Man in there as a combo piece. The main all stars of the deck, though, really, as far as like the creatures goes, like Ruthless Technomancer and Deadpool. So Technomancer, when it ETBs, it can eat a creature and make a bunch of treasures equal to the creature's power. So if it eats a Dargo, it makes 7 treasures, and then Deadpool can take the text box of creatures. So there is a cool loop where you basically cast a Dargo and then cast a Technomancer, eat the Dargo. So it sacks the Dargo, reducing the cost to cast Dargo. And then what you want to do is you want to recast the Dargo, cast a Deadpool, have it steal the Technomancer tech box, eat Dargo again, making 7 more treasures. And then when you cast Dargo the next time, you sack the Technomancer, even though you don't need to reduce the cost. You just sack the Technomancer as part of the cast. And then you will use the Deadpool that now has the text box of the Ruthless Technomancer to pay 2 in a black, and then sacking 2 creatures because you want to do it this way because the Technomancer's power is less than Deadpool. So Deadpool's power is 5, Technomancer's is only 2. So you reanimate the Technomancer, and then it will eat Dargo, making more treasures. So every single time you do this iteration, it's 1 to cast the Dargo, and then 3 mana plus 2 treasures to do the Technomancer. So you're technically using 6 treasures. So you go up a treasure each time. So you just repeat this iteration, make infinite mana, and then eventually you will finish with a cast of Dargo eating the Deadpool, use the Technomancer ability to now reanimate the Deadpool, and Deadpool has a fun piece of text that says sack it, each player, or 3 mana, sack it, each player draws a card. And at this point, you have infinite mana, so you can literally draw everybody out at instant speed. The only way to stop this is with some sort of like split-second ability. So you either need something like Angel's Grace, or you need something like Trick Vine, or some way, again, split-second to like stop the iterations. If not, they'll just activate over top of it and you're going to lose the game. Also, fun little combos with like the Jolly Blue Man, ways to make like infinite hasty Technomancers, and that's also really funny. It's because then you just kill everybody with infinite Technomancers. Kellen found an insane line in this list with the Savines, and I don't know if he is still on the. It doesn't look like they're on Dual Caster Mage anymore. But Kellen found like a crazy combo with like the Savines in the list, but if they're not on the Dual Caster, it doesn't matter. Runs Gamble, still runs breach lines, reanimate. Peer into the Abyss is like a combo card with Dargo. You basically like Burn Offering or Sacrifice makes you 7 mana. So then you just immediately get to cast a Peer and then pick up half your deck. And then if you can't win at that point, you just need to quit cEDH. And then same thing, more good silence effects, ways to stop people from basically winning the game. Good extra turn spells to just basically say, I'm going to have another go at it. Ad nauseum is kind of a new thing. I was on Nas in the list that I was playing that I got from, or that I proxied off from Matt from Celestial Winter Gaming.
Yeah.
And I cut the card for Pier because I wasn't on Pier in that list. And it's kind of cool to see everybody on Nas. Like, it's just a really good card. Even in a deck like this where the CMC is ridiculous, it still gets you there.
Yeah.
Like, I literally watched Phil win the game because he had a Nas. And then, yeah, Artifacts. Ultra Dementia is a combo piece with, you can just, like, start milling people out. He's also on, like, the Fire of Heroes. If you eat any of your little one-drops, you're probably going to be making a treasure off of that or milling some cards, and you can basically just go and find a Grand Abolisher straight to play. If you sack Timna to it, you literally get to go find Technomancer. Basically, it's just one extra mana of a creature that shares the same type as the creature that was sacked.
It's Birthing Pod.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Alter the Wretched is like a ridiculous card with Dargo. Draw cards, mill cards equal to Dargo's power. So draw 7, mill 7. And then Curse Mirror is another combo with the Technomancer to at least make infinite mana. Bolus of Citadel, ridiculous.
His bosses.
Yeah. And then Relic of Legends, same thing. It's a combo piece with Dargo. If you can just keep finding a way to, if you have a sack outlet for the Dargo, every single time you recast Dargo, you can tap it down with the Relic to pay for the red that you need to recast the Dargo, and then whatever sack outlet you have. So again, like if it's Alter, you're just going to mill everybody out. Other notable sack outlet is the Goblin Bombardment, which just deals damage to the perp people. And then Static Prison, really good removal piece. Underworld Breach.
Is Breach.
Necro is in the list because
it's Necro.
And Smothering Tide is Smothering Tide. And then he's notably on like the Artifact Land, the Ancient Den, and they have been on the Emergent Zone, but it doesn't look like Phil is on Emergent Zone.
Interesting.
Yeah, Kellen was on Emergent Zone, and that card is busted. Also, notably, Starting Town sucks. Okay.
Did you get it out of your system? Did you? Yeah. Okay. Do you feel good?
No.
Okay.
I feel great.
So, yeah, I learned tonight that I just gotta let him get it out of his system. He started complaining about feeling like he doesn't say anything when we do these. Here you go. You get more Blake talking.
Chase has a lot of knowledge on a lot of decks, and so I don't ever want to interrupt him because it like kicks in and he just starts like listing off the things for the decks. But sometimes I see a deck that I really really like, and I want to let the tism do the tism. So I'm just
can we say that?
Yeah, I got it. Who gives a shit? What are they gonna say? I'm discriminating against myself.
My God. Anyway, congratulations, Phil, with a record of 3-2-0. All right, in fourth place, we have Cole Justice on Braids, Arisen Nightmare. Not the one that got unbanned.
Not the trash one.
No, not the trash one. The other Braids. So this is interesting. Have we seen this commander pop up at all?
It's played in a couple of decks. I think like Corvold was one that I've seen it played
in, but yeah, what about as the commander? Okay. Well, let's kind of take a look at this. What does this commander do first and foremost? So at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with that permanent. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. So it almost looks like we got like this mono black, like Staxy kind of build going on because we got a lot of these like really 0-drop artifact creatures that can kind of cover for either or. Pieces like Opposition Agent and Sheoldred.
I don't know that I would call it Staxy. He like was trying to jam. Like, yeah.
I never got to play against him. So.
Oh my gosh. Because like if he goes in first seat and he like drops this bad boy, if you don't have anything to sack, then you just don't get to do it. So then he just literally like before you even took a game action, you're losing 2 life and he's drawing 3 cards.
So it's just like Dark Red Braids. If you got a counter for it, you counter it. But if you don't, then GG's.
I mean, he's drawing lots of cards and just jamming. Like I said, there was the game that we had. If he would have pushed harder, he would have got there. But he got talked into not doing it. So he did not get there.
Okay, so you played against him. So how about you talk about it?
Yeah, I actually played against him in the other event as well. The one in the Infinity Games. He was in my very first game. I was seat 1 in a pod with Tim Gold Sabertooth, and Cole was in seat 2. We sat down, we started talking immediately. We're cutting up, shooting the shit, and then Tim wins turn two with Rocco, and then we proceeded to go to a different table that was not the one we were just playing at because we both lost, and then proceeded to shoot the shit. And Cole literally has every fucking card you could think of in Magic. It is insane. I literally made the comment at this event that I didn't have certain things that I needed for Yuriko and stuff like that. And he literally looks at me and he goes, dude, you should have said something. I literally like I have that deck. And I was like, what? And he proceeds to pull out a fucking just a briefcase of like shit that's just like all of these and like they're real cards. Like he pretty much has everything that you could want. He was like, yeah, dude, I could piece you together a Yuriko right now if you wanted to play it in the event. And I said, well, we've already done down at round one, so I can't do that. But I will ask you for the next one. But yeah, he literally was like, yeah, hit me up if you want to do that. And what was crazy is in the event that we were at in Infinity, I think he had lent out like several decks to people to play. Like he literally has so many cards. And so he just put this together just for like shits and giggles. He was like, I have the cards for this, and he just threw it together.
That's funny.
And then he fucking top fours with it.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Well, yeah, you played against it, so you understand like what the strategies he was trying to go for. But I'm kind of looking at this as well. So it looks like we got Crick here in the 99, being able to utilize that to filter our life into mana. We got these combos. Like there's Villas and Shieldred, so I'm assuming there's some combo lines there in order to like just draw more cards and see more of your deck. Probably paying life through Crick to kind of see more cards as well. He's on the Hoarding Broodlord, so I'm assuming we're on some kind of combo there to assemble some stuff. Razaketh is utilizing that as a piece to kind of tutor out and really assemble some of these combo pieces. Walking Ballista, I'm assuming he's probably on Agatha Soul Cauldron. I haven't gotten down that far yet. But I see a Walking Ballista. I'm just like, possibly.
Not on Agatha's.
Okay, never mind. He ruined that for me. So, so yeah, there's we got all like the good black tutors, peer into the abyss. It's an interesting deck. Was Balthor in this? No. It's kind of looking to see if there was ways of getting back pieces from the graveyard aside from like reanimate and things like that, because we're used to seeing like Crick like utilizing these pieces more so than anything else. Kind of looking here at the instances. Xeon, where's this? Yep, there's Sonhalf for Broodlord combos. Some sacrifice type things, or like the calling the weak, making a bunch of mana. Other rituals, Rain of Filth, which is also kind of interesting, but I guess that you could just utilize that to go faster, just how every other deck is doing that at the moment. More reanimation type effects. A lot of artifacts. What is this? Like, what's with... We're on Citadel. No top, no Aetherflux.
Don't ask me how this fucking...
I don't know how this fucking deck works.
I see Tiny Bones joins up and I immediately think like, okay, maybe that's it. But
I mean, you can combo with Tiny Bones, but what legendary creature are you constantly reanimating?
Correct.
I think it's kind of...
And that I don't
question
have the
here.
answer to.
I don't have an answer. I don't have a fucking answer for this.
I don't know what this deck does.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like, it's definitely cool that we are actually, well, if you want to think of it this way, we're kind of seeing this resurgence of Mono Black Turbo as well because of Gwenum. So maybe people just trying to expand upon that and seeing what we can revisit either with something like this or Crick.
I'm guessing there's probably some loop here to like make infinite mana or something crazy, and then like you've got access to the ballista, so just infinite mana with the ballista. I'm just again not seeing it. And then the Tazrin, or however you say it, Trazin, I don't know how to say that.
Trazin the Infinite.
There's going to be a 40k player that stabs us for that, but it has all activated abilities of all artifact cards in your graveyard. So like also that just being able to
copy the Walking Ballista,
activated ability to put +1/+1 counters and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, the deck is very interesting and it did very well, but I have no idea. Sorry, Cole. I don't know what this fucking deck does.
Hold on.
Which basically just means we need to play
Okay.
some more games.
Hold on. So with the Trazen, I'm thinking, I'm cooking. Okay, so the Trazen, the Infinite, if it has the activated abilities, with the Phyrexian Devourer, you can pay 0 into that. Remove exile the top card of your library from the game to put a plus X counter on this, where X is equal to that card's casting cost.
Casting cost.
Casting cost. So if the Trazen has that ability, I guess you could kind of continue to filter, like just like start exiling cards from your library and like really beef it up. And then if you have the walking ballista already in the graveyard, like you could just literally like combo with those 3 cards. You just exile your entire library. The Trazen is just like big for whatever the cards you exile based on their CMC, and then you just shoot the table.
Yeah, but it's a plus X counter, not a +1/+1 counter.
I don't know. I'm just assuming.
I mean, you're good. You can
I
cook as
mean,
much
there's
as you
got to
want, my
be.
friend. I don't fucking know.
Oh no! That's because it's the old text. The new text put X +1/+1 counters on this creature. Where X is the exile card's
Never
mana
mind.
value.
Yeah.
So that works that way. Cool. We figured it out. So congratulations, Cole, with a record of 2-2-1. All right. In third place, we have Craig Reynolds Griffin III on Kedis Timna.
I lost to this deck.
That's interesting. Not Dardu, Kedis Timna, but I'm seeing some tech from Dardu already in this, like with the Stitcher supplier, things like that.
It is literally a Mardu breach list with the plan also of like Timna can get big as hell, and all you have to do is hit one player, and Kedis will say, "Cool, splash damage," and just fuck everybody else's day up. That's the deck. Like it literally plays a beat strategy.
That's
with
hilarious.
a Mardu breach like list. Yeah, because he won with a breach line, but he looked at us after, like before he did it, and he was like, "I just want you to know I could kill y'all the other way too." And he shows us the cards to do it, and we were like, "Fuck."
Okay, so you explain what that was trying to do.
I didn't say I knew. I was just like, it was an option. Now, let me find the cards because I'm put on the spot here. Yeah, just yeah. So like, Rise of the. Oh my god, I broke it. Thank God we're doing this. Rites of Initiation, where it like lets you discard cards to put +1/+1 for each card like discarded that way. So you can like beef up Timna or whatever other creature. Same thing, Hatred. Pay X life. Target creature gets +X+0 until end of turn. So same thing. You just beef up Timna like massive and hit somebody, and then Kedis is like cool, doing it to everybody else. And also you get to draw cards for doing that. And I want to say that I think there was an artifact too in the deck that allowed him to do it. But yeah, other than that, it's literally just breach lines like grinding station, wheels, like that. He's even on the lava spur boots for the haste to swing.
That's hilarious. Well, and what I think is really interesting in a deck like this, okay, so if that is kind of the game plan here, he
Notably
seems to
also
have
on Angel's Grace.
well, and that's I was about to talk about it. Calm down.
Go ahead.
So, what I think is really interesting is that there is a ton of like single target removal with like Rending Volley and Swords to Plowshare. What else are we looking at? Deadly Rollick here, Fire Covenant, and like literally all you have to do is target one player's board. And so if you and technically speaking, I think Untimely malfunction being able to utilize that as a piece to where like creatures can't block. You just target one player's board and you remove all those pieces and then you do the thing you're trying to do. So even though I don't like Angel's Grace, here's where I think it's actually kind of a good card in this deck in particular is that he is on Chance for Glory, where it's going to make all your creatures indestructible, and then you take an extra turn, and then you take that extra turn and you Angel's Grace. So then you don't lose the game, but all your creatures are still indestructible.
Yeah.
So
That's fantastic. Yeah.
So you have access to things like that, and also like Final Fortune as a way of taking an extra turn. So that way, if you don't have something that is going to do the haste enabling for the Timna plan, you can protect yourself through the Angel's Grace, not lose that turn, but still be able to swing and get this off. So that way, if something happens and someone, doesn't die from it, then you're not out of the game entirely either.
Bro, Angel's Grace and then pay all your life, but making Timna like a 41, 41, or what is it, 40, no, 40, 42, 42, and then
just swing. Yep, seems good. So, yeah, that is kind of cool strategy. This stuff you don't really see that much in or what you really think of with Timna. So this is kind of a cool deck. So
That's badass too. On Children of Corliss. Sack that shit, gain all that life back,
do it again. So anyway, congratulations, Craig, with a record of 2, 1, and 2. All right. In second place, we have Matt Schneider on Joyra, Ageless Innovator. So not the Cheerios Joyra, but the tap put counters on things Joyra. So you have played against him before. I've played against him, but the game didn't last long enough to really tell what this deck was fully trying to do.
What happened in y'all's game?
We lost till I think a turn 2 or 3 Dog Thrass.
Nice, that sucks.
Yeah, that was at the last time we went to game nights.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah, no, I've played against Matt a couple of times. I played against him, like I said, in a top 16 game, and that game we just got fucked hard, bro. It was bad. I thought I was gonna actually have a good game in that, but Corbin decided to just big brother me the whole game. But like, I drop a turn 1 fish, feeling great. Corbin drops turn 1 Ristic on blue farm, and I'm like, fuck. I drop turn 2 Lotho, hell yeah. Corbin drops turn 2 Smothering Tide. I'm like, fuck. Corbin drops turn 3 Grand Abolisher and wins the game. And we all were just sitting there going, fuck. It just is what it is. But no, yeah, this list is actually really cool. Basically, think of this as almost like Arkham. It's very similar to Arkham.
yeah.
Main win line that I saw, and I actually think that might be the only like actual win in the deck. You're essentially going to either find ways to tutor out your deck, draw your deck, whatever you need to do, continue to put artifacts into play. The main win line with the deck, though, so I'm just gonna find. So Filigree Sages obviously untaps artifacts, so you can technically just like if you can make mana and like find ways to keep producing mana, you can continue to like tap and untap certain cards to like continue to draw through your deck. The main combo that I see, and I like again, it may be the only combo. I just got to find it. Is so Lithoform Engine and the Chromatic Ori as one of the ways to do it, and the Godfair statue. So you're essentially just making infinite mana at this point with the Chromatic. So the Filigree and the Chromatic just nets you infinite mana, and then you can use that mana for any color to just like continue to like put those activations on the stack going up in mana, and then use this to draw out your deck. And then Joyra will just continue to, like, as you tap it down, if you have ways to untap it, you can just spit out all the artifacts that you have straight into play, not casting spells.
Yeah.
The actual combo, though, is whenever you get to the end step, God Pharaohs has an ability that triggers at the end step that says at the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 1 life. Notably, it's loses 1, and it's each opponent. So what you do is you make infinite mana with the Chromatic Ori, and then you activate the Lithoform Engine.
And you do like infinite activations of Lithoform targeting the ability that's on the stack.
Right. And so you just drain the whole table out. And that is exactly how he won in the game that I walked up and saw, which he was proceeding to cook 3 of our locals. Like, so I think it was Leo, maybe Sean, and someone else. I don't remember who else was there. Oh, Joel, maybe. And yeah, it was Joel. And all 3 of them were like feeling great. They had counter magic up. They had all sorts of shit. I mean, they were feeling great.
And he's like, I'm not using, I'm not casting.
There, yeah, he just sits there and he goes like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Any responses? No, okay, I'm gonna do this. Any responses? No, okay, I'm gonna do this. Any responses? And then finally, Leo just kind of sits there and is like, beside you. And then Matt goes, okay, I'm gonna spell Skype that. Okay, any responses? Okay, cool. Okay. And then finally they just looked at him and they go, okay, we get it. Like, you got yeah. Like, how do you win though? And he goes, oh, that's actually really cool. And then he looks at me because I'm standing there looking. He goes, I thought you were gonna like find the win line in the deck whenever y'all reviewed it, but you didn't. So let me tell you. And then he proceeds to show me the win.
So I guess I would be curious that can this deck win at instant speed? That triggers at your end step, not all end steps.
I have no clue. Probably not.
Maybe something to visit. Yeah, but that is really cool. And then like we're on copy effects and our enchantments, fish, Ristic, and mind over matter.
I would say it probably could, right? Well, probably not. Who gives a fuck?
If you have a way of drawing out your opponents or anything like that, potentially, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, too, you could also just like copy a shit ton of your stacks pieces and just get to a state to where like they can't do anything, then get to your turn and then just do it. So it's not necessarily instant speed, but it's also like your opponents are now playing at like sorcery speed.
Well, the thing is, like, I don't know if you can. I mean, he'd have to explain a lot more. You can do a lot of things at instant speed in the deck, from what I can gather. I don't know if you can necessarily win right then and there at instant speed. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but you can activate everything at instant speed where you just like you could draw out your deck and then put like everything onto the battlefield. Yeah. So that way it just literally just sets you up for your turn and then just go straight to end step.
A God Pharaoh statue is still a God Pharaoh statue. Like that's a pain in the ass. And also, I think one of the things that's like really interesting about this is like I really do feel like we're seeing this weird. Like people, kind of like when we were talking with Zach, I think that people talk about like this rock paper scissors right now that we have going on.
Yeah,
I almost don't even know if you would consider like stacks as I guess like part of that rock paper scissors right now. But it's almost decks that are trying to win fast, decks that are playing like tempo / mid range, and then decks that are just skipping the stack altogether, like activated abilities. That's kind of the rock paper scissors that I'm seeing because the decks that want to go really fast just kind of fuck these decks that need to like get set up like cEDH and like Arkham and some of these other decks. And then you have stuff like Blue Farm that needs to essentially just like set up, but these decks don't ever like cast anything through their value pieces. They're just activating abilities. So like I don't know how it would look, but it's like this weird game. That's why when I was even talking to you, like I've noticed that with a lot of these other decks that are now doing well, is you're seeing things like Time that just say, screw it, I'm not really going to use. I'm using the stack, but I'm not going to put things onto the stack like in the form of like card draw, like things that could draw other people cards. Same thing with cEDH. It's like I'm not going to cast stuff. I'm just going to activate abilities. Same thing with like some of the Kennen decks are like bigger flips, and they're just like I'm just activating stuff. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just activating stuff. Same thing with like this Jorah list. Like I said, Arkham. Some of the Arkham's a big one. Like just 2 of them just did really well. Like you're trying to find a way to push through this crazy mid-range slog that you're seeing. That's like, okay, now the board state has gotten so bogged down. There's 0 chance that I could win right now through like these studies. But then the other deck over there that's like just going to activate a shit ton of abilities is like, hold my beer. You know, I'm not going to get there. Like, I don't know. I just think it's interesting. And I think it kind of shows. Like, he does really good with this deck.
Yeah. So, and I think there's nothing else really like this deck as far as like doing things with this Jorah in specifically that we've seen in the format. So,
like I said, this is like, is it Arkham decks?
Yeah, I think the first time I met him and he talked about the deck, he was literally like he was interested in this commander, and someone's just like, you can't put that together, and he goes, bet, watch me. He's put this together and he continues to perform very well with it. So
I think there was actually 2 of them that did really well in the Infinity games, like or the Infinity event that we went to.
Yeah,
there were like multiple Jorahs at that event that were actually doing like really decent.
Yeah, cool. So congrats, Matt, with a record of 4-0-1. All right, and finally, in first place, we have Brandon. I'm gonna say it's Lucia. Sorry, Brandon. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Lucia.
Rob Lucci.
Rob Lucci. On Shorakai Genesis Engine. Every time I have played against Brandon, in a total of 2 times now, he has proceeded to fuck me. So, like, I don't know how this deck wins. Sometimes it just kind of comes out of nowhere. This is Azorius draw a bunch of cards, and then with the 20 cards in hand, I just win the game, and you can't do anything about it.
I think that's the thing. Is like Brandon is just such a good player that like you just don't know it's happening until you're fucked. Like I literally don't know how to explain it. Like he already has you bent over and you're conceding the game before you know it. You're like, damn it. And like it just sucks, dude. It comes out of nowhere. This deck draws so many cards. It is stupid.
So story time with Brandon. Okay. I think we've talked about this just very briefly. I have not talked too much on the channel about my cookout experience, but this is one of the stories that I really love from the cookout. So I actually played against both Kellen. Played against Kellen in round one. That was already tough. That was a tough game. And then I played against Brandon in round two. And I'm on Sisay. I have like 20 plus treasures, things like that. And I hadn't put Sisay out on the battlefield, and I probably should have. I should have pushed a lot harder in that game. But at one point, Brandon goes, Chase, we're going to win. And I'm like, Brandon, that's not how this works. He goes, no, we're going to win. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so I haven't scrolled down to it yet, but I'm going to do that right now. He has this little card called Emrakul the Promised End. And he casts this motherfucker, proceeds to take control of me, and he wins with Sisay by putting activations on the stack of Sisay and then drawing me out. And I'm just like, what? Why? And now he actually has a kill count on his Emrakul card of how many players he has, or how many players or how many games he's won casting the Emrakul and taking someone else's turn. And I am one of those people on that Emrakul card. Yeah. So I was just like, how do we win the game? And then he cast this. I go, I understand now how we win the game. So but yeah, let's kind of take a look at what this deck is trying to do. The thing
he told me before I even got to the event, he was like, he told me, he said, my goal for the event is to take Blake's turn, swing with Zer, get Necropotence, and then pay all of his life into it and just let him die. And he literally told me, he said, I'm not even going to try to win. I'm just going to kill you. And then if I lose the game, fuck it. And I was like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah. So anytime that we reference Brandon and we talk about how he bullies people because that's what he does, this is the Brandon that we're talking about that got first place in this event. So yeah, lines that we can kind of tell right away. He is on the Teferi Displacer Kit and stuff. You heavily relying on Displacer Kitten as a way of like anytime he's casting things, being able to like untap the or like flicker the Shurikai and then like draw more cards and things like that. I see that we are on Hullbreaker lines as well, which I mean, once you generate infinite mana, you can just infinitely like recast Shurikai and just draw more cards and be able to draw out your deck that way. I haven't seen it too much from him, but I'm sure there's something there with the Fairy Mastermind as well. Like if you already have these ways of making infinite mana, you could probably dump it into the Fairy Mastermind and force draw everyone to draw out their deck. We are on Valley Flood Caller, but I don't think he's on Retraction Helix or anything like that. This is interesting. I feel like is interesting. He is actually on like a couple of board wipes. Which almost kind of makes sense. You're in Azorius, you're trying to do this more control-y shell anyway with 2 colors, so you might as well give yourself access to like literally one of the best board wipes you can because it's uncounterable, being the Supreme Verdict. And then the Vanquish the Horde, where it has a cost reduction in order to like cast it. So like literally for the same cost of a Grand Abolisher, if he goes up against like Rog Thras or any of these Turbo Cradle decks, he could just double white, destroy all creatures.
He actually did that in a game where me and you were both in the pod with him, remember?
He did. He very much did. We are on 24 pieces of interaction again.
And it's interaction.
Yeah, like it's like I just said, like we're in Azorius, we're in this like really control heavy shell, so it makes sense to be able to run a lot of counters, especially if you're seeing a lot of cards through your commanders, or through the commanders, so that way you can kind of do whatever you need to. I actually really like that he's on Strict Serenade. I still think that that is a card that gets slept on a lot of the times, especially whenever all these like creature based strategies are like very prominent right now in the format. Like, okay, like you're scared of Ral. If you have a Strict Serenade and one blue pip open, counter that motherfucker.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of funny because I was actually thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, I wish I had ways to like counter creatures that were good, and then I thought about the fact that I'm literally on fucking Dispel, but I'm not on Strix, and I was like,
yeah,
I should probably
what's
rethink
wrong
that
with you?
card. I was on Miscast and wasn't on Strix. Like,
Oh my god. But yeah, like just a ton of counters, a lot of spot removal type things through like Chain of Vapor, Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshare, into the Flood Maw, even Sinka to Super technically. I've seen this man utilize Commandeer very efficiently. I hear horror stories of how he steals a lot of turn one Ristic studies with Commandeer. So that's kind of funny
I feel bad for Kellen having to like
playing
I.
against him.
They're just just like I mean I don't feel bad for Kellen because I know Kellen probably gives it just him as just as much shit as he
Oh yeah,
does.
absolutely.
But Jesus, Brandon,
Yeah,
why?
yeah.
Why are you like this?
Shurikai is like the Azorius version of Kennen, where you just draw a bunch of cards and put a lot of artifacts into play instead of creatures, and you just go. Yeah. Is he on IsoRev? Yes, he is. He's on he's on fucking Dramatic Reversal and Isochron Scepter, which makes sense. You're trying to untap and make a bunch of mana, so
Well,
like
also it
it's very
combos
fitting.
with the commander because like
Yeah,
Shortcut tap, so just yeah,
yeah.
very good.
So and then we've seen Coveted Jewel like in that game at was it Pool Priority
No, it was not
where
Pool
we played against
Priority. It
him?
wasn't Pool Priority that we played against him. Was it the
Summer Pact. It was
Summer
Summer Pact.
Pact?
Utilizing the Coveted Jewel as a way of just like seeing more cards, right? Because yeah, whenever it enters, you draw three, and then
He kept casting stuff, and then Kitten would blink it.
yeah. Um, and then in our enchantment package, like literally the only other way he can technically win at like an instant speed is like through blind obedience, being able to pay into the extort ability and just drain the table that way. So I mean that's cool. I don't know if he's on emergent zone or anything like that. I don't think he is. Just being able to kind of cheat that or put it into play like with Flash, but he is on the Valley Flood Caller, so he does have access to like just making a bunch of mana and then like dropping this down at by flashing it in and then just proceeding like a whole breaker horror loop and just extorting the table that way. So that's really cool to see here. He's even on out of time. This fucking guy. This fucking guy. Yeah, and he's taken some plays out of your books, or maybe he was the one that originally did it, where, uh, making multiple copies of Ristic studies. Actually, we all know Freedom Waffle probably was the one that truly pioneered that, but you guys do these things as well. I don't give a shit about Ristic study. Ban it. I know, I know. You're disappointed in me because you love that card.
I'm indifferent.
I truly
I'll
am
swing and
indifferent
get
to
a
that card.
Necropotence. I don't give a shit.
Turbos are.
That's
So
not
yeah,
good.
and then we are on 28 lands. Spira Industry, no starring town.
That's exactly what I was about to say, and you took it from me. Spire Ministry, way better.
So anyway, congratulations, Brandon, with a record of 4-0-1.
It would be 5-0-1, Chase, because he won the whole event.
He won the whole event.
So what you thinking, buddy?
I think that it was cool to see some of our locals make it into the top 10 at this event. I think that a lot of us got cooked by the Nashville scene, but that's part of the reason why we are really trying to grow and expand not just our local community, but our state, and really trying to push more events in Kentucky in general, because we do have a lot of really solid players, not just within Nashville and the Tennessee area, but Ohio, Georgia, like Indiana, Illinois, so on, that are close enough to us where it's just like it's about time we need more. And I'm really glad that, our local shop decided to put on this event, put forth an effort, and saw some success out of this. And I think following this event, they're much more likely to try to push CEDH events like this. I don't know if it'll be monthly or not, but that would be the hope, is eventually maybe they start pushing things more in this direction where we see monthly events, or as long as the prize support's really good, and we could see more proxies being used, because they did limit it to 10 proxies for this event. Originally, they didn't want to do any, but they allowed 10, and they saw a really decent turnout. And I think that maybe the shop is a little bit more open at this point, which is really, really good, I think, for us, especially since that's been one of the biggest things we've talked about in the past couple weeks here on the channel with people we've brought in to discuss things.
Yeah. No, I definitely think that the more effort that we put into all this stuff, like the more we're going to be able to grow our scene, which is going to be a lot of fun. I just hope that we can start hosting like some events like this. If the shops do not want to get on board and say, "Hey, we're gonna allow proxies or whatever," then hell, we might just start hosting some of our own events. I think we still have the goal to eventually host one of our own events, but I think that I think this was really good. I think that we needed something like this. I think it was cool for people around our area to be able to literally just get up on a Saturday, not have to make a super long trip, and just be like, I'm going to go play in a cEDH tournament. And it's like literally in their backyard. We haven't had that in a long time. Fuck. We're lucky if we get our little Saturday thing to fire ever, where it'd be like,
Right.
okay, cool. It's 3 games and you're playing for packs and you're playing the same person both, like every game, because there's like 6 or 7 people that show up. So then they do like, they'll literally do like 2 pods of 3, or like there's like a 4-person pod and a 3-person pod, and they just rotate y'all around based off who's winning at the moment.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, ah. And then finally, for them to actually get to see like a decent event, that was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I agree.
what else you got, brother? Anything fun?
I don't think I have anything for this. Again, I'm a lot more hopeful now that this event has been that took place. I'm glad that it seemed like the people that came from out of town really enjoyed it and had fun at the shop. And our hope is maybe next time they do host an event, they can maybe even bump it up to like a few more players. I don't know. The space is very limited right now, but I do know the shop is planning on trying to expand. Probably won't be anytime soon, but if they do expand and they're trying to utilize the expansion as more dedicated like play area space, might be realistic to get like 100+ player events into the shop and be able to kind of host some of that. And I think that would be really, really, really cool and good for not just our local, but for the state, because I know that, there is one proxy friendly store, at least that I know of, in Somerset. I would assume maybe some of the places in Murray are, but those are like, Murray's like several hours away. Somerset's a little bit decent. Like, it's a little bit farther away from us than what Louisville is. We talked with the Jakes last week. Louisville's not proxy friendly. Our state still has that kind of struggle, and I think a lot of other places do. But hopefully, we're going to start setting some of these trends and try to really help push not just our locals, but other areas that are struggling with this as well, into the direction that the rest of our format is seeing, to kind of catch things back up. So that's what I'm really hopeful for and excited about through this. And I'm glad we got to cover at least a portion of this event, because I think that people need to see that, and shops need to see that.
Try to help promote your local scene. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, it's very easy to get wrapped up in the idea of like growing a massive group or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like cEDH across the globe or whatever. But I think that people do forget that a lot of that starts like at home.
Yeah.
Like, just local, near to you, getting games together and firing. I think that what Critical has done with like their league is massive, because it's connected a ton of people and it gives them a place to where like they can fire games all the time. But also, like, I still think it's good too for people to have people close to them, local, to where they can sit down, kitchen table magic, fire a game of cEDH, jam, and like you're next to one another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but I'm just happy. This format's badass.
Yeah. Well, and even as you're kind of talking about that, of like almost the sense of like it starts at your locals. If you really want the scene as a whole to grow, like it starts at your locals and things like that. Like, we've kind of had this discussion, I think, kind of in the past few weeks with other people. I know that in a recording we did the other day for someone else's channel, and it was that they asked us like, where do we eventually see ourselves going? And we didn't put it in these terms exactly, but as we're talking about now, it's almost like we are kind of in this state where we're trying to push like more of this like grassroots of like cEDH in a way. I don't know how you feel about that.
Bluegrass.
But bluegrass.
Bluegrass root. No.
But like really trying to like push like more like local scenes, or trying to really help other areas develop that the best we can. And hopefully that people just can kind of continue to enjoy the content we're putting out, and that's my hope. And the only way that we really know that is if people like and subscribe and tell us down in the comments like what are your all's thoughts on some of these decks that we covered, as well as maybe if we cover more local events like this. We will get back into the routine of covering the bigger events as they happen. We could have, but for some reason some of these decks aren't popping up on here, and it just makes it hard to cover things. I think even on the Mind Sculptors today, they called some of these tournament organizers out, or at this point, it's a couple of days old. Called some TOs out for like not making it to where people were actually uploading their decks onto the program. Start doing that, so that way when we're covering big events, we're not having to try to sift through things and guess what decks we're trying to see, or missing, or we're skipping over people or anything like that. So please stay on top of those things, and we'll get back into the routine of that.
Also, again, just like little housekeeping thing, like if you haven't already, like we have a Discord, so if you have some like cool brews or like events that you're wanting people to talk about, or you're trying to help grow your scene and you have questions, like hop in, ask us questions. And if you're in the Kentucky area, join the Kentucky Discord that Chase has been so awesome to like help put together and collaborate with people and trying to get this thing up and going, so we can obviously get more games firing in this state, and hopefully we can fix this proxy problem that we all run into. And then also support us on Patreon. Like join the Patreon. We're gonna start posting there more often. We thought actually before we did this, and we thought about posting this as like a Patreon thing, but I think we're obviously going to release, I mean, it's obviously going to be released as an episode, but like we're wanting to start doing more Patreon specific content, and also try to be more active in the Discord. So if you're wanting to like jam some games, or you're just wanting to like talk some cEDH, talk shop, we'll be there. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then if you are wanting to play games and you don't have the cards because you live in Kentucky, still say fuck the shops and buy some proxies using the affiliate link.
Yeah. Code CCC. CCC.
That's probably backwards.
That was definitely backwards. It's all staying in there.
I guess that should technically go this way, right?
Yeah.
You read right to the left.
CCC.
3-pack minute checkout.
See, this is what happens. We cry just as much as your child does because of this whole proxy situation that we have in our state. But you can prevent that by going on and ordering things through Manavault Proxies. And yeah, just use our code. We really would appreciate it. Everything that we are able to kind of accrue through that. Again, I think a lot of this stuff is just go straight back into the channel. So whatever you guys contribute to that, you're going to see how that is played out. So
it goes to getting stuff like this.
Yeah. Thank you. So other than that, I really don't have anything else, I think, for tonight. Do you?
No.
All right. Then, if you like what we're doing, please support us, and we greatly appreciate that. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always,
go play some cEDH.